I love these questions so much. But I'm gonna be real with you on how to heal and like work through this. You have to accept that it's going to be hard work. It is going to be hard work, and you have to put in the work, in the time, because thinking that, oh, I figured it out in my mind, I understand, that's the end of it. That's not the end of it. The end, it never ends. Like, not to be like the Grim Reaper, but it never ends, for real. Healing is a lifelong thing. You just get wiser and you get stronger, and you become more resilient by working through it. But I will tell you what I did. I think and to be honest, y'all, I don't care if y'all ask me a million questions a million times. I will answer this question over and over again because I think that it matters. So I'll take you back to 2019. No, 2017. I joined the military, and that's when I started like doing my spiritual journey. And I was into manifesting, and then I had started going to church, and I just started to understand the power of words, the power of the tongue. Like, that was like my thing, right? And then I ended up deploying, and when I deployed, I found that I was, writing down my affirmations, my intentions, my gratitudes for the day, just to get my day started. And it was like I was doing those things in the flesh, but in the spirit, I was not that way at all. I was still, holding on to so much bitterness and pain and hurt, but I didn't know. I didn't understand it at that time. Until somebody actually pointed that out to me. They was like, how you is this positive person, you making these videos about this positivity, but at work you are just so blocked off and like not here. And that's what made me, that as well as like a few other things, that's what made me go to therapy. And I started going to therapy in 2019, and that's when I started to begin to get to the nitty gritty of like my trauma. Lots of tears, lots of trying to cover up my pain and my hurt with relationships, romantic relationships, lots of losing friends, due to, sometimes it was them, and most of the time it was me, and I will be all the way honest, it was me most of the time. And then I got my diagnosis for ADHD maybe 2020. I want to say it was 2020, maybe like a year later. And then after that, I still kept doing talk therapy, still going through. I feel like I was just so up and down. Like, I felt like I couldn't get like on an even playing field. I felt like, obviously we know that healing isn't linear. That's another thing that we're going to have to radically like accept within ourselves, is that healing is not linear. So it could be something that you feel like you worked through and you got over, and it'll be something that'll trigger it, and you will get the crying. And it's like, that's something that you have to accept about the journey. And I think that the number one thing about your journey and healing through this stuff is acceptance of where you are. It's gonna make it makes it a hell of a lot easier. It's like, okay, I accept that this is where I'm at, but I'm trying to get better and better and better. But I accept that where I'm at is where I'm at, because if I gotta cry, I don't want to be looking at it, because it's a hell of a lot worse when you are ashamed of where you are, and it's a hell of a lot worse when you are embarrassed of where you are. When you accept it and it's like, this is where I am, okay, this is where I am. And even before I even got this diagnosis for borderline personality disorder, I wasn't okay. I was not okay. And I felt like I was good with the affirmations and stuff. Like, I had a good foundation to get through some of my days, but because I didn't have the answers, I wasn't okay, because I didn't understand what was going on with me. And I'm like, am I crazy? Like, am I insane? How come it seemed like everybody else can regulate their emotions, but mine just seemed to go up and down? And it's like a never ending fucking cycle for me. And once I finally got enough, I literally have only been diagnosed for like a month, and I feel like I've made so much progress because I finally have a name to what I'm going through. I finally have a name for it. And for me, like, labels are great because I know how to treat myself and treat the label. And I understand like what I'm going through. And I feel like now that I have a label of what I'm going through, I don't have to be so shameful because it's not something that I did to myself. I didn't make myself have borderline personality disorder. If I could have came to this life without it and be perfectly secure within myself and perfectly fine, I would have chose that. But I didn't choose that. So the fact that this is what I'm dealing with now, more talking and working through it. But I feel like I've done the bulk of the talking and the bulk of getting to where I'm supposed to be. So now I used to journal a lot, and I feel like I stopped journaling, one, because I feel like it triggered me a little bit. But today in therapy, my therapist was like, yeah, you're gonna have to start journaling. So that's one thing that I'm working on now. Also like my somatic stretching, my somatic healing, and these are things that you can like look up on Google. And I understand that everybody can't afford a therapist. I'm not saying go out and do therapy. I understand it, but definitely start writing things down and start understanding. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube. Those were a lot of things that I did as well as I was going to therapy. I would look up videos. I would look up, how to heal. I would journal a lot. There's so many journal prompts on the internet that are like specific to your situation. And actually before today, because my therapist just introduced tapping to me today, but my appointment was so far away from my last appointment that I went ahead and like looked it up myself. So I have been doing like somatic tapping, and every single morning I wake up and I do my stretching. And sometimes I try to do it at nighttime, but at nighttime I make sure that I have a nighttime routine where I put on my music. I actually made a video about my nighttime routine. I put on my video. Not my video. I put on my music, my calming music, my affirmation music. I do my skincare, and I make sure that when I'm lotioning my body, oiling my body, I'm feeling it, so that I'm like calming myself by rubbing on my body. And then I do my skincare as well, and then I top all of that off with EFT tapping. So you can go back to that video and watch that. I think I might do a video on that as a whole, because I feel like it's very informative, and it helps so much, because what it's doing is allowing you to get in touch with your body and reset your nervous system, and take out all of those old beliefs that you have within yourself, and replace them with new ones. So I hope that helped. I know I'll be rambling, y'all, but I hope that helped. So yeah.